A starving cowboy makes a desperate deal: marry a giant stranger for food and a cow. On their wedding night, she locks the bedroom door and the cow disappears. But this mysterious woman isn't his captor, she's his teacher, and the real prize was never what he expected. Before you watch full story, comment down from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Tom was a cowboy. He lived alone on a small farm. He had no money. He had no food. The sun was hot every day. It did not rain for many months. All his animals died. Only one thin cow was left. Tom was very hungry. His clothes were old and dirty. His house was falling down. He wanted to cry, but he had no tears left. One day a man came to his farm. The man wore a big hat. He had a wagon with him. "Hello," said the man. "You look hungry." "Yes," said Tom. "I'm very hungry. I have no food." The man smiled. "I can help you. But you must do something for me." "What?" asked Tom. "You must marry the woman in my wagon. If you marry her, I will give you food and a fat cow." Tom looked at the wagon. A very big woman sat there. She was as big as a mountain. Her arms were very strong. Her hands were huge. She did not smile. She did not talk. "What is her name?" Tom asked. "Her name is Sarah," said the man. "She needs a husband. You need food. It is a good deal." Tom was so hungry. He could not think well. "Okay," he said. "I will marry her." They went to a small church. An old man read from a book. There was no music. There were no flowers. There were no people watching. "Do you take Sarah as your wife?" the old man asked Tom. "Yes, I do," said Tom. His mouth was very dry. The old man looked at Sarah. "Do you take Tom as your husband?" Sarah just nodded. She did not speak. "You are now husband and wife," said the old man. Outside the church there was a fat, healthy cow. It was the most beautiful cow Tom had ever seen. "This is yours now," said the man in the big hat. Then he got in his wagon and drove away. Tom and Sarah rode home in a small cart. Sarah was so heavy that the cart made loud sounds. Tom felt very small next to her. They did not talk during the long ride home. Sarah just looked straight ahead. When they got to Tom's house, Sarah got out of the cart by herself. Her big feet hit the ground like thunder. She walked into the house without waiting for Tom. Tom followed her inside. The wind blew the door shut behind them. The house was cold and dark. There was one bed, one table, and two chairs. Everything was old and broken. Then Tom heard a sound. Click. He turned around. Sarah was standing by the bedroom door. She had locked it from inside the room. "What are you doing?" Tom asked. He felt scared. Sarah did not answer. She took off her big coat and hung it on a hook. Her arms had big muscles. Her hands looked like they could break things easily. Tom stepped back. He felt very small and weak. "This is not what I thought would happen," Tom said quietly. "No," Sarah said. Her voice was deep and quiet. "It is not." Tom tried to open the bedroom door. It was locked. Sarah sat on the edge of the bed. The bed made a loud sound under her weight. She opened a big bag and took out some food. There was meat, bread, and water. Tom's stomach hurt from hunger. "Is that food for me?" he asked. Sarah looked at him. "You married me for food. You will eat when I say you can eat." Tom could not believe it. "Are you serious?" "Yes," Sarah said. "I am serious." Tom did not sleep that night. Sarah slept sitting up with her arms crossed. One of her boots was still on her foot. Tom lay on the floor by the door. He held an old knife that used to belong to his mother. He was afraid. In the morning, Tom ran outside to see his cow. But the cow was gone. The fence was not broken. There were no footprints in the dirt. The cow had just disappeared. Tom ran back into the house. "Where is my cow?" he shouted. Sarah was making hot water. She did not turn around. "You never had a cow," she said calmly. "What are you talking about?" Tom asked. He was very angry. "You had me," Sarah said. "That was the deal." Tom grabbed his coat and his knife. "No. I was promised a cow." "For what?" Sarah asked, finally looking at him. "For marrying someone bigger than you? Someone stronger than you? Someone who does not need to be saved." Tom did not know what to say. "I did not trick you," Sarah said. "You just did not ask the right questions." That day Tom tried to walk to town. Sarah did not stop him. But the hot sun and desert heat stopped him. He had not eaten for 2 days. He was too weak. He fell down on the hot ground. When he woke up, Sarah was pulling him back home. She dragged him like he weighed nothing at all. Tom did not talk to Sarah for 3 days after that. But he ate the food she made because there was nothing else to eat. And every night she locked the bedroom door. Then one morning Tom found a small metal box on the porch. Inside were 3 silver coins, a letter, and a photograph. The letter was for Sarah. It was from a man named John. The letter said, "Sarah, if you are reading this, I am gone. I should not have left you. I was weak and scared. You were always braver than me. You do not need anyone. But if you are trying to find love again, try to be kind. Try to forgive. And if he is a good man, do not lock the door forever." Tom looked at the photograph. It showed Sarah when she was younger. She was smiling and standing next to a tall, kind-looking man. In the photo, Sarah looked happy and light. Tom put the letter back in the box. He left it where he found it. That night, Tom cooked dinner. He lit a candle and waited for Sarah to come inside. When she came in, she saw the hot food waiting for her. Tom did not speak. Sarah sat down and they ate together in silence. When Tom got up to clean the dishes, Sarah watched him with soft eyes. Tom walked to the bedroom. For the first time, Sarah did not lock the door. That night, they did not touch each other. They did not kiss. They just lay in the dark, 2 broken people side by side. Tom woke up before the sun came up. Sarah was gone. The bed was still warm. The door was still open. But something was waiting on the table. There was a wooden box with Tom's name carved on it. Inside were papers that showed he now owned the land. There was also the title to a cow, 3 more silver coins, and the photograph. Under everything was a note. "You asked for food. I gave you something else. A second chance. Do not waste it." Tom stepped outside. The wind smelled like rain. For the first time in months he saw clouds in the sky. In the distance he could see a single cow eating grass by the fence. Tom did not run after Sarah. He did not need to. Hunger had brought him to her, but choice and kindness had set him free. He would never forget the woman who locked the door. She did not lock it to trap him. She locked it to teach him what real love looked like. Tom sat on his porch steps for a long time. He watched the cow eat under the growing clouds. The earth was still dry and cracked, but something inside him had changed. He was used to running away when things got hard. His mother died when he was young. His father drank too much. Every time life became difficult, Tom ran away. But Sarah did not run. She stayed. She stayed even when she could have hurt him easily. She fed him when he would not look at her. She saved him when he tried to die in the desert sun. When she saw that he was finally ready to listen, she let him go. Tom had never known that kind of strength before. Chapter 8. The Rain. The clouds came by noon. Big, fat clouds that covered the sun and made everything smell like hope. It started to rain. Tom was already walking toward the barn when the first drops hit the ground. The cow lifted its head as if it knew something special was happening. Tom touched the cow's side. It was solid and real. It was never really about the cow, Tom thought. It was about trading fear for faith. Sarah had tested him, not for strength but for humility. For the next few weeks Tom worked very hard. He fixed the fence, repaired the roof, and got water from the well. Every night he lit a lamp on the porch. Every morning he looked toward the hills, hoping to see Sarah. She never came back, but sometimes he would find small gifts. A loaf of bread, a jar of beans, or an old horseshoe left on the fence post. These were quiet messages without words. One morning, after it had rained enough to make mud, Tom walked to town. He bought paper and sat in the saloon to write a letter. "Sarah," he wrote, "you gave me more than a cow. You gave me back my life. I'm not proud of how we met, but I am grateful. I am working and planting. The land is healing. I do not know where you went, but I hope you are safe. If you ever feel like locking that door again, the key is under the 3rd step, tied with string. Tom." He gave the letter to the postmaster with no address, just Sarah's name. Somehow he knew it would find her. Months passed. The land slowly got better. The cow gave milk. Tom bought another cow, then 2 more, then he traded for chickens. The roof stopped leaking. Tom did not talk much in town, but people started to look at him differently. Not like the starving fool who married a stranger for food, but like a man who was building something good the hard way. One evening, just as the sun was setting, Tom came back from the field and found something on his porch. A folded piece of cloth, heavy and clean and still warm. Inside was a simple meal: cooked rabbit, fresh bread, and a small note. The note said, "The lock is open. If you are ready." Tom's knees almost gave out. He stood there for a long time holding the cloth. Then he looked toward the hills. This time he did not just see a cow. He saw her, a dark figure standing by a tree. She did not wave. She just waited. Tom did not run. He picked up the cloth, took a deep breath, and began to walk. With every step the past fell behind him. The lies, the drought, the bargain he never understood until it was too late. He did not know what he would say when he reached her. He did not need to know. Sometimes love does not begin with kisses and dancing. Sometimes it begins with hunger, with silence, with a locked door and a stranger who teaches you that surviving is not the same as living. Real love does not come easy. But when it comes, you walk toward it. The grass was soft under his boots for the first time in over a year. It was damp and alive. Each step toward Sarah was slower than the last. Not because he was afraid, but because he knew what waited at the end of this walk was not just a woman. It was the truth. Sarah did not move when he reached the tree. She just stood with her arms crossed, her eyes steady as if she had been waiting there all along. Sarah was still huge, still quiet, still strong like stone. But now there was something new behind her eyes. Something open. Tom took off his hat and held it to his chest like a boy about to say sorry for something. "I never thank you," he said softly. "Not just for the food or the roof or the cow, but for not killing me when I was a fool." Her mouth moved a little, almost like a smile. "I was not ready back then," Tom continued. "You knew that. I think maybe I needed to lose everything first." Sarah tilted her head slightly. "And now," he said, his voice shaking a little, "I am ready to do things right. Not because I want something, but because I finally have something to give." Sarah stepped forward once. Then she reached into her coat and pulled out a folded piece of paper. She handed it to him. Her fingers touched his, warm, strong, gentle. Tom opened the paper. Inside was the deed to rich land, north of the canyon, land that stayed wet even during the worst drought. Tom looked up, confused. "You are giving me?" Sarah shook her head. She said one word, quiet and final, "Us." Tom had not expected that word. Not from her. Not like that. Sarah was not asking for anything. She was offering a life. One built on hard work, sweat, and second chances. Not fairy tales, but something real. A wind blew through the field. The clouds parted just enough for sunlight to paint Sarah's face in gold. She was still a giant, but Tom was not small anymore. Tom folded the paper, put it in his pocket, and held out his hand, palm up, open, shaking just a little. Sarah took it. That night they walked back to the cabin together. No horse, no cart, just two people side by side, not needing to speak. The candle in the window flickered as they walked through the door. This time they closed the door together. No lock, no silence, just warmth. Sarah unpacked her bag slowly, like she was not sure how long she would stay. Tom set out 2 cups, 2 spoons. They did not say much. They did not have to. They ate in silence. Not the kind that hurts, but the kind that heals. After dinner, Tom pulled a box from under the bed. Inside was a hand-carved key, the one Sarah had left behind. The one he promised would be waiting under the 3rd step. He placed it in Sarah's palm and closed her fingers around it gently. "You hold it now," he whispered. "But only if you want to." Sarah's eyes searched his face. "No more tests. No more tricks. Just truth." She nodded, then stood and walked to the bedroom. Tom followed. Sarah did not lock the door. She did not need to. And for the first time in his life, Tom fell asleep with the world exactly as it should be. A little broken, a little strange, but finally whole. This was not just a story about hunger. It was a story about how we trade pieces of ourselves for comfort, and how sometimes it takes a stranger to show us what we are really worth. Some doors are locked for protection, but the ones that matter open when we are ready to walk through them.